It's just I don't know if it's just a mental thing or influx of new players or changes to the game, but it seems like kind of every mid-season patch specifically, I tend to struggle a little bit, but
Yeah.
usually it rights itself over time.
That's how it goes. Usually, it could be a little bit of inconsistency, and then you've kind of sorted it out. Okay. Let's get this all sorted out here. So, what got you back? What do you want to be getting out of today's session?
Um, I enjoyed our first session. Thought we covered some good things and gave me some good tips, and just kind of wanted to get something scheduled to, check in and see kind of how my gameplay has progressed, kind of what new issues may have came up or so on.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Did you manage to, from the eye check anyway, improve on any of the things that some of the goals that we set in your last session?
Yes, I feel like I've made a conscious effort in some of those, specifically like if I have ult, if I don't have anything to counter, I can take kind of more aggressive angles, or even if I don't kind of find those opportunities to kind of take off angles if my DPS aren't, or so on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I've tried to limit the harmony cycling. That's something I still find myself kind of doing sometimes, but
Well, I mean,
the
it's
positioning
kind of a
was.
process, right? Like you're not going to be able to immediately snap your fingers and immediately improve everything. But yeah, okay, okay. Um, let's look through this form here if there's anything new here. We're gonna be looking at more Zenyatta today.
Yeah, I have 4 codes. Two of them are Zen, two of them are BAP Zen.
Okay.
I've been playing a little more BAP as of recently, specifically with like the Pink
Sure.
Mercy effect and all the Mercy players.
Yep.
Makes it
Yep.
hard to play Zen, so I've tried BAP, just because it's kind of a similar gameplay,
Sure.
a little more verticality and so on. But
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
haven't played too much Kiriko. It's mostly just been BAP Zen or
Okay.
Lucio sometimes.
Now, on the forum, we talked a little bit about your mechanics and your avoiding pressing W inappropriately. How is that? You said that that's still, at least on the forum, you said that's still something you're working on. Is that the case?
Um, that was something that was a big issue when I first signed up for coaching.
Yep.
I believe I included that in the
Mm-hmm.
second form as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say for the most part, it's less of an issue. I still find myself doing it, but it's something I catch myself like right after it happens. It's like I need to stop doing that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Good.
definitely an
Good.
improvement, but still kind of gets that way sometimes.
Considering this is our second time through, would you be interested in some live coaching?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a quick look at a code then, and then maybe have some idea. We can go through a little bit of live coaching, maybe warm up, see what we can do. Sound good?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
these are the codes I have. I'll kind of let you pick which one you think. The Busan win, I felt I played well that game. Um, that was one where I took some good flanks and off angles was then
Sure.
um,
Well, you tell me which one do you
Runasapi.
want to look at here, because there's upsides to all of these.
Um, I would say the Runasapi one.
Let's do it.
Because I think that is one that I'm still kind of struggling to figure out the right way to play that map.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for battle. Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
Same skin, I can tell.
Yep, hasn't changed.
Any questions, gameplay wise, or I don't want to sort of jump right in if you had any questions, gameplay or outside of gameplay.
No, I do want to say one thing that helped me get out of my losing rut. your Pugs match when I went against the full dive team on Zen.
You
After
played
that, I
well.
finally broke the losing streak
It was the
and was able
Suravasa one, right?
yeah.
Yep, you played well.
So,
You played well. We were on your POV a lot. I mean, obviously it was like an impossible ask, really. And maybe that's kind of why you guys did as well. I mean, that was a consistent theme for the whole day. Like, this should be impossible. And yet somehow people figured it out. Like, right? You guys almost won that one. The one before that, they almost won. The one before that, they actually did win. So, yeah, well, good. I'm glad to hear it. The key thing then is to put yourself in the absolute most miserable situation possible. And then nothing seems as bad anymore.
yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of what it did.
So a little bit of it there, right? Like that's the old habit kicking in, right? Like I look at this and I'm like, okay, maybe I'd prefer the Harmony Orb on Tracer. But me getting to peak this here and getting out 100 damage, whatever, just any sort of pressure now is more important than having the Harmony Orb on the exact perfect person, if that makes sense. And I know that that's something that it's kind of like conflicting information, right? Like, well, I need to get it on the Tracer, right? Because that's the squishy where the 30 HPS matters the most. Yes, but if you have to wait this long to do that, it's just not worth it. That being said, this is definitely the sightline to go. I don't remember. Did we talk about crosshair placement with you? I cannot remember.
I don't believe so.
Okay. You could see it here, right?
Yeah.
There's your mechanical habit to work on. There's no excuse for this because this is not bad mechanics. This is bad mechanical habits. There's difference, right? You're not under any pressure here, and yet your crosshair has remained at knee height. So even if you hit all 5, it doesn't matter. Rotating away from D.Va, very reasonable. Yeah, I mean, besides like the crosshair placement and maybe just not rotating the angle reasonably enough, I think your movement here has been really good. Positioning here has been very, very good. And then deepening your angle here once you get sightlines, it's good. That's much better crosshair placement. Do you see that? Like immediately, like that's part of Zen right there. People like he's a very highly mechanical character, but there are moments where it is a little spammy. Let's not lie, right?
Yeah.
So you need to put the crosshair at head height. That's the difference between getting this BAP either dead or forcing lamp and not. Really well done. In fact, here I would want you to continue to rotate. Like once you know where that D.Va is, that just opens up this angle even deeper. Obviously, you have to be careful in that rotation, but I think you can do it if you time it correctly. Like right now, perfect time to rotate. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no complaints. When you're able to do this as Zen, take a nice sight line and just put pressure, you are the best support in the entire game. Unquestionably. Nice job.
Thank you.
We'll zoom ahead a little bit because I want to see this. Nice. Again, crosshair placement was pretty good there. I like the sightline as well. And see here, with the information that you have, like, you know that this is pretty empty, at least right now, right? You'll have some audio cues. You also have cover. You also know that at least 2 or 3 people are here. This is too conservative of an angle, given where your team is. Where should you rotate to? Just a small adjustment, right?
Behind that blue box next to the Tracer.
Yep, right here. Just start putting pressure right now. Like, you outrange these guys, just start putting pressure now. And then if you hear movement here, rotate to the other side of the blue boxes. And if they pursue you, well, then you can rotate this way or you can rotate this way. You have options. But get pressure out now. This isn't bad. It's just, yeah, see, this should have been 3 or 4 seconds ago. Let's give you what that sightline would have looked like, right? You see it?
Yeah.
So
and I
much
allowed
more
that
damage.
May to push up.
And that's it, exactly. What ends up happening is you end up putting pressure on yourself by not taking the best sightline. That being said, you still got here, so. We're nitpicking this just because I know you wanted to improve at this map. Good. Really, really nice. Oh my gosh. Okay, no comment. That's okay. What should you do immediately? See if you can figure it out.
Get into cover, probably back by that mini that I was set up at the start of this fight.
Yep. And I'm going to cook even further. I want you to consider flanking all the way around, depending on how this fight goes. Or rotate back here. Right, exactly. So you can either rotate this direction, like you said, to the mini here, and then have trance here. Or you could dip all the way back and go for a hard flank and just try to assassinate backline, depending on how far they push up. I just don't want you to stay here. Choose left or right and make a quick decision. Because you see, you're like, oh, I want to play it safe, but you don't know. You see, you don't have a sight line, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you need to choose either where you said left or you go right. Because this is just ugh. Also, minor detail: don't trance this until you need to.
Okay.
Get like 1 or 2 more shots. Get a couple more shots in. You can get 2 or 3 more shots at least before you need to trance this. Put force main ice block. And another thing you could do as well, if you really want to get cheeky with it, body block in front of the Sigma. So stand in front of the Sigma for the first 1 or 2 seconds of your trance to block all, not only just to block all damage, right? And then disengage at the end of your transcendence. I like this with one tweak. Where should you end the trance?
In cover.
In cover,
just to
where?
the left there.
Yeah, to the left, or frankly, honestly, I think I like to the right better here. I like right here. A little bit more permanent cover. This is something that you could get pushed on, right?
Yeah, my thought process on left is I could use that jump pad to take.
Oh, true. You could, true. Yeah. So not here, but like actually like pushing in here. That's fine. Yeah. That would be good. That'd be good. Different left. And by the way, this is another situation where you need a better angle. Like, do you notice how like your sightline here is really bad?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's on paper good, right? Like obviously you could use a little bit more cover, but like it's you've got a nice distance here. But what's the problem?
They're all behind that pillar on the
right. And
side.
Why are they all behind that pillar? Look at your teammates and look at you. You see it?
Yeah.
The reason why this worked here and then this worked here is because you either had teammates shooting here when you were shooting here, or you had teammates actually shooting here, so that this actually was open as well, right? So, and it's the same reason why this worked, right? Like this felt so good because you had teammates shooting from here. It wasn't like you were hard flanking. It's just like a different sightline. So given that information, where should you be? Small adjustment, right?
I would rotate back behind the gates and then maybe hit that other entrance as well. Yeah,
here?
Right here.
And then even considering
maybe
here.
rotate.
You got it. Perfect. But you see like how this is like just so unsatisfying. There we go. And there it is. Immediate reward. And you're like, oh, well, I died for it. Well, yeah. But it's just because you swung a little bit too far from cover, right? And you got doinked twice. And frankly, I would rather have you die here than do nothing. Because the funny thing is you would die to this Cassidy anyway if you were staying here. You would have died to this Cassidy anyway. But at least now you got something out of it.
Yeah, and I have an opportunity to get him with playing cover.
Right. You haven't
before I was in the wide open.
Exactly. So you have an opportunity to win the duel. You force the cooldown, and you get value early on in the duel as well. So that was good. Yeah, I would say so far that you are doing okay positionally for considering this is a new map, and that should be encouraging because it shows that you at least kind of have a general idea of what you should be looking for with this character, even with a brand new map. Okay. Now, you kind of have a choice here. I actually kind of like this. I really don't hate it. I know you're all thinking like, oh, I'm trolling. This isn't. You could honestly just rotate here and just beat the crap out of them here. This would be totally fine as well. But if you're feeling a little bit spicy, I don't really care. Like as long as you play this super disciplined, it's not the end of the world. Because look at what's happening here.
Yeah,
you see this? You see the attention, right?
Yeah.
And because they're not fast characters, they can't really punish you for doing this. Right, I would never do this versus a tracer. I would try to, I'm not sit with my team, but I would try to abuse the longer sightlines. But like, cause this is the comp, like they're kind of spooked about it, right? So it's all right. And the funny thing here is like you actually are in a fairly reasonable position because look at where your Sigma is and look at where you are. You see it?
Yeah. Now when I rotate back, I do have an off angle.
Right. So quote unquote main is now an off angle now because of where your Sigma is. Your tracer is also helping as well. So this is fine. It's fine. Yeah, I like this. Only thing I would do is I would do the whole like slow down thing, right? Like just take your time here. There's no reason to be firing at max range or max speed and be missing all my shots. Just slow it down.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I find myself doing.
Yep. Because this is, I would say, a mostly mechanical fight from you. In terms of like, that was, the one time you actually put a little bit of thought into your aim, you get a kill. But your positioning here was reasonable. Very reasonable. Now you can cook even more. Frankly, I just go back to the same roof because you know where your team's going to be coming from, right?
Yeah.
Right under your butt. So just go back here, sit here, and just cause total chaos here. I mean, you're not going to even get your transforce, honestly. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. And then now you can help your tracer, which is beautiful. Beautiful. You're thinking about it, I can tell. You know what? That's okay. I would rather you greed the trance a little bit here because your sightline was fine. And honestly, you were still like 170 HP. But you know what? That's your pressure here is why the Rhine died. Look at the BAP, look at the Mei, look at the Moira, look at the Cassidy. It's just you and Tracer. And Rhine is literally completely by himself. So I don't think the trance was needed, but your behavior, nice shot, but your behavior because you had trance is what won you this fight. Nice shot. Does that all make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that does. That was another case of kind of me just pressing W though, when I didn't necessarily have to. But I think my thought process there was to just make sure we got the Cassidy.
Yeah, understandable. I think the idea is that the Transcendence allows you to take positions, but if nobody really pushes you on the flank, you don't really need a trance. You can just keep shooting. You don't really benefit a whole lot by being closer. I don't think that you need to rotate back this way. Just keep your sightline here, right?
Yeah, I think I rotated there to try and get a volley on Cass, but
Gotcha.
dealt with that.
Again, it's things. I mean, just look at the difference mechanically here. I know this target is like. It feels like you're a little bit more surgically focused at times, right? And it feels like you're rewarded by hitting 30-40% more shots. Again, crosshair placement there needs to be a little bit higher for her head. Nice. I mean, just look at this. You're single-handedly holding a back window back. It's crazy. And this is where Zen is just really impressive. And now we're talking trance here. It's actually super unfortunate. I think you hit an icicle. Yeah, you just swung a little wide there and ate an icicle. What?
That was...
Okay, honestly, decent sightline. Mechanics could have been a little bit better there. Obviously, wide peeking that icicle just a little bit sucks because if you'd hit literally, I think, one more headshot, you get your trance here and you guys win this fight. So, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
But honestly, again, initial position was okay. Do it. Okay, you're gonna go back to the same sightline. I'm a fan. I'm okay with this, but this is another one of the situations where it's like, I think you're thinking about Harmony orbing your Ram, but again, it just doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to matter. He's got DPS passive on him anyway. So we're talking about like 27 healing per second. It helps, but you know what helps more? One shot on this Mei right here. One shot on this Mei, right? That's enough to force Ice Block or kill her, and then you're good to go. And what happens is because you're so focused on healing, you end up just really missing your shots. Like you could tell you're not thinking about shooting. Look at your shots right here. You see what I'm saying? You're not engaged. And frankly, here I don't mind the trance, but obviously in hindsight, there you could have egoed that Sombra way more. You could have waited a long time before you trance there. And so, again, the start of the fight positioning, pretty reasonable. Just need to work on what your action afterwards. Keep swinging. This fight's lost, keep swinging. Nice shots. And by that, this fight's already lost, so you might as well get to the deepest angle possible when you can, just to try and clutch it or pull attention or at least get a trade, right? If you're gonna die with glory, right? Okay. Rotation.
2-minute warning.
To the right.
To the right, you got it. So obviously maybe a little bit early now, but like when you get the chance, when you guys get a little bit of a pressure, yeah, there you go. A little close, there it is. A little close to Diva, but it's still far enough away to where you can be pocketed and peeled. Again, this is what we're talking about, right? This is beautiful. And you got a Harmony Orb on your Soldier. Good. And see, you're fine. You're fine. Your lifer is a literally blithering idiot. You should be fine, okay? If your life weaver has 2 brain cells.
Yeah, I was hoping for the life grip there. Because I couldn't
even
really
use a
rotate across.
What is he doing, bro? Okay, all right. TLDR, this is good. This is really, really, really good from you. The key thing is that, unfortunately, I think you ate a Bap Window Icicle. Like, I probably wouldn't re-peek this. Let's put it that way. As soon as you see this is re-peeking a Bap Window. That should have one-shot you. It could have one-shot you. So I think this was your mechanical mistake. Respect the window, okay? You had the element of surprise. You lost the element of surprise. Disengage. And honestly, just keep backing up all the way to here, anticipating their push. I think you could have kept moving there as well. Honestly, I'm not really sure. Okay, maybe...
I think that icicle made me respect the window, and that's why I was
Right.
to move.
I mean, okay, I think that's game right there. Let's get in some live coaching. Let's do some live coaching. Main takeaways for me, I actually think your overall positioning was all right with some necessary tweaks. Slightly paying a little bit more attention to where your team is and angling appropriately. Being a little bit more responsive to like what's the careful close sightline that I can play. Keeping your crosshair at head height, and again, making sure that you're not prioritizing Harmony Orb over crucial moments of damage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
Okay. It's mostly the same, but it does feel slightly better in a lot of aspects as well. Okay. Let's actually, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to start with a warm-up with you, because I want to talk about how we can warm up. So if you have the capability, start streaming through Discord and jump into an unranked deathmatch to start off.
All right.
Okay. Can jump into deathmatch while we're waiting for deathmatch. So what I want you to do is this is where you can start to address mechanical habits. So I know like deathmatch is kind of chaotic, but work on your cover corner discipline. Rotate from corner to corner to cover to corner, but don't just press W. So you know where Tracer is, so press W, right? But hold this corner until you get more information. Then rotate forward if you don't know where she is. Where's your cover? I used to do this a lot when I was playing Zen. Zen was like my guy in deathmatch. I don't even know how many hours of Zen deathmatch. Might be over 100 hours in deathmatch with Zen. And this was like, you could develop like all sorts of little habits from this. This is also where you could practice your crosshair placement as well. Like always, like when I'm corner peeking, I'm always trying to make sure that my crosshair's right at head height. Lots of little things you can work on.
Okay.
Here you can also practice shooting car windows. It's really, really fun. It's great. It's super engaging. You know what might be more fun? Give me a second. Leave the queue. Leave the queue. I'm not leaving this to chance. Drop your battle tag and DMs.
All right.
Got it. 5-level endorsement. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Let's make history.
I
One of those people-
honestly,
One of those people are like, please endorse, like, love, hearts, and kisses.
I don't know how I've gotten to 5, but it works out.
So, priority for you here, cover, corner, rotate. Cover, corner, rotate. Cover, corner, rotate. Cover, corner, rotate. Do not press W.
Okay.
What DPS here would you really hate to play versus?
I think I struggle most against Genji.
All right, well, I will swap Genji as soon as I get... Well, I'll go now, actually. I'm warning you, my Genji may be the best in the world.
I'm excited to see it.
Wait, I need to go full screen here. All right, we are good.
Do your worst.
Like I said, best in the world.
I could tell once we got into that fight that I abandoned the whole cover principle.
That's why we do it here. Because there's not a lot of positioning things to think about. You don't have to think about your trance or your harmony orb. You just think about your mechanics. Oh my gosh. No comment on that one.
Finally, a real challenge. Show me what you're made of. No need to go easy on me, master.
So as quickly as you can, find somewhere where you can have a positional advantage. I'm also noticing you're not spamming right clicks anymore. Interesting. Makes you a lot harder to find.
Oh,
Yeah, so wall hacks cuts both ways. I know you have it.
Come at me.
Uh-oh.
I didn't even know you can go over there.
It's funny, your Zenyatta orbs are bouncing, making jingle bell noises. It's kind of cob.
My spirit blazes.
Caught without cover.
Now, it's a lot harder in deathmatch. That's the thing. It's like it's not near as intuitive, and sometimes you are going to be caught without cover, and there's nothing you can do because you're rotating and you're slow. But it's as much as you can control it. Find the cover wherever you can. Like, that was good, but you needed to drop sooner. Nice. That was much harder for me. Much, much harder.
Nanakorobi Yaoki.
Nice. One of the things I used to do in deathmatch on, like, you get, like, Chateau,
Will always precede
is I would run
victory.
laps. I'd run laps. I'd check that corner, then I'd check that corner. I'd check that corner, then I'd check that corner. I'd check that corner, then I'd check that corner. Like, you get in the cycle of, like, never leaving cover, but always moving, always rotating.
Okay.
I don't know how you do it on this map. I don't have a lot of experience on this map, but... Nope. Nice shot.
Lead lost.
Finally, a real challenge.
Pass into the iris.
The strat there is to get you out of cover. Oh no!
He's forgotten.
Okay, it's close.
Much better.
We'll go to 10.
The wind blows in my favor. I am healed.
Yeah, there I was in the doorway way too long.
Nice. Really good use of cover there.
Each journey has its trials. I am repaired.
Swing that too wide.
Well, that one was understandable. It's more encouraging to take risks when you're at 1 HP, right? So you swung wide there for the big right click, and I knew that you were going to do that because you had to. You were down so far. So then I dodged it and then repeaked it. But it's understandable for you to do that. Whereas now I'm the one that has to take the risk here. But it doesn't matter.
Nice.
Oh no, I tried to BM. That might have been a mistake.
I lost you.
That's okay. That's okay. You played that one well. I was messing with you, and then you almost made me pay for it. Nice.
My duty calls.
Oh no.
Finally, a real challenge.
Did you already use deflect there?
Yeah, I don't remember, honestly. Sometimes it's part of the mind game, right? Sometimes you, like, read it too long. Nice. Okay. Jump into Q. Now, you've had the opportunity to practice something mechanical related. That could also be crosshair placement. I didn't want to practice crosshair placement with you in a 1v1, but in a normal 8-man deathmatch or a tryhard free-for-all, whatever, custom lobby.
Did you want me in
Ranked.
ranked queue? Okay.
Yes. But you could practice something mechanical on that. I used to break my jumping habit in warm-up lobbies as well. You could practice your right click versus left click, when you should use each, whatever else. Let's jump in. Now, for this, what do you want to work on? Do you want to work on your positioning? Do you want to work on your harmony cycling instead of damage balance mid-fight? It's up to you.
Are you saying from a gameplay standpoint or a mechanical standpoint?
Gameplay standpoint. Positioning, harmony usage, trance positioning. What do you think?
Trance positioning.
Okay. And I think we can work on positioning when you don't have trance too.
That I just didn't respect the venture.
Yeah, that's fine. See, this is when you can run cycles from left to middle to right, just always moving from cover to cover. Now, I will say when you're rotating in the open, you might as well be charging a right click because you're not exactly being, you know, surreptitious, not exactly being subtle. So you might as well charge the right click. Yep, good. Nice. Oh, nice. I mean, that you goofed a little at the end there, but do you see how good that was?
Yeah.
You just completely
Just playing position.
right, just the positioning side of things. You like completely ruined their ultimate. And should have won the 1v1, frankly. So that was good. I'll make a list. Remind me at the end of things that you can work on in deathmatch. One thing I would ask, or we could work on as well, is like not spamming your shots, because that was something that we saw in the Runasapi game, right? Just slowing your shots down. Like even now, you could just try it for this fight. Slow it down. Allow yourself time to put your crosshair where you want it to be. Close. Let's do that for the next couple of engagements, just for fun. Be really precise with your crosshair. Nice and slow. And again, nice and slow. You can do whatever with your positioning if you want. We're not really concerned right now. Slow it down, slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down. And that's kind of like what you have to do. You have to constantly remind yourself, you know. And that's basically what I'm going to be here for. Ooh, tough map. Tough map. Not my favorite.
Depending on their comp, obviously, but I can do well on defense here. It's the attack that I struggle with.
So start the thing. Where should you position to start?
High ground on our side of the point.
That can work. Where else?
I could play the stairs opposite of point
Yep.
to watch that.
Yep. Both kind of
entrance
give you
on height.
rotations, right? Like both you can push up and then back off.
Yeah, both I could use this hallway to rotate.
Yep. Yep. You could. This position right here is pretty good, but you can push up, and then the same thing on the opposite side. Like you could start with your far end and then rotate to the back hallway. Do whatever one you want. And the key thing I want you to be thinking about is like moving from cover to cover, rotating, depending on where the enemy team is. So use the information on your screen to decide where do you need to be.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of prompt you. I won't tell you where to go, I'll just prompt you. Let's press tab. What are they on? Okay. Yep, just keep damaging. No time for harmony mid-fight. Okay. I like the downtime here. Let's go. Good. So you didn't hit a lot of shots, but I did like the rotation there because you're like, hey, there's nothing on that right side. There's no Sombra Tracer to punish me. And I can kind of deny some of their cover, right? By rotating to this angle. It's good. It's a good read. Let's press tab again. Okay, so still nothing. Obviously, you need information about this rotation here. Yeah. So where should you go? And then based off the information you're given, you can make choices.
Oh,
You hear that? You hear that?
Yeah.
So how does that adjust your positioning?
Probably rotate back over here closer to my team.
And you have time to do so because you hear her on front line. And perfectly. Slow it down. Slow it down. There you go. All right, we can rotate forward. Your team is there. You need to follow them. Good. Your Winston instead. Okay, press tab again for me. Okay, still in custody. Where's that Sombra?
She was down by the Mega last. I don't know now.
Okay. Nice. It's a great ult trade. Keep the positioning and find out where to rotate from here. You don't want to be here. Perfect.
I left cover.
That's okay. You lost cover from that position because you did not anticipate her to be there, right? But yeah, holding that corner there would have been fine. Okay, now she's going to spawn camp you. Expect it. Rotate from cover to cover. This is now a deathmatch right now.
60 seconds remaining.
Yep. Yep, where do you need to be?
And cover.
Can you get to cover? Listen. Holy crap.
I missed the door.
It's okay. I mean, you got cover at least. You might die here, but at least you're going to get something out of it, right? So I just stay here. If you see an opportunity to rotate, go for it. There you go. Good job. Not complicated, let's be honest, right? But you did a good job. Did you notice how much your positioning changed? You rotated right as soon as you saw an opportunity to. You rotated back because of the Sombra pick. You then dropped after trance. Frankly, I don't even think you necessarily needed to drop, but you did. And you dropped to the back corner. Then you left the corner and got punished. Then coming back from spawn, you tried to rotate back to high ground, but got caught mid-transition and just found whatever cover was available and made it work. Good job.
Yeah, I think that last room that I was in, if I was going to leave high ground, that would have been a better spot. Probably leaving high ground.
Well, the funny thing is, what did that position have? What was good about that position? Cover, right? What was bad about that position?
It was close.
Right. So it would be a really, really bad spot to end if there was something that, like a Reaper, May, Rhine, even a dive tank, right? The reason it felt better there was because of what character?
Sombra and Diva.
Sombra, really. Because even Diva, you'd want to play the back right? A little bit more distance between you and the Diva. But because the Sombra, isolation was honestly worse than being a little bit closer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you did a good job. I think it was a reasonable read. Okay, assume that they're on Sombra, assume they're on Widow, assume they're on Wrecking Ball, assume they're on Roadhog, assume they're on everything bad right now. Cover, 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 cover. Super disciplined. Press tab as soon as you can. Sombra's about to hack you. Right? That's like the mentality you got to be in. Press tab. There's all the information you need. What should you do?
Find an angle. I don't like this because they're all set up on high.
You're going to have to be a little creative here. You're obviously operating at a massive disadvantage and you're down one, so you're going to need to be a little creative. They're going to push you here. Did you die in vain?
No. I took attention of 2 and
yes.
forced
And you could have won it too. You could have won it as well. So the question is, did you need to flank there, or did you have a good enough sightline elsewhere? This is not passive-aggressive. I'm not leading the question. It's something to consider.
I don't think I had a better sightline unless I just sat on, like, main.
Let's try it right now. What did you think of this position for the few seconds that you've been here? You probably should disengage, by the way.
Yeah. It was good when they were on point, but if they weren't on point, I didn't really see much.
Okay, okay. Okay, make a decision. With the information you have, make a decision. Let's go. There's the W, see it?
Yeah.
Okay, you addressed it. You addressed it. Just not quite quickly enough. Now she's gonna spawn camp you here. Unless you see her there. Did you see Sombra there?
No.
Okay. You're playing deathmatch until you hear otherwise. You heard her?
I heard her up there.
Make a choice now. Make a choice with that information. Looks like you have a space. I like this. You have trance, make a play. Go, go, go. Just keep the position if you can, or find a different angle.
That's what I was afraid of.
That's okay. So, frankly, when you rotated there onto the flank for your trance, you actually made your sightline worse, and you put a lot of downtime unnecessarily. We're going to look at that fight afterwards. I'm going to see what you think of it. This fight is still very winnable. Assume that they're going to spawn camp. Probably not, but assume that they're going to. And find your best sightline.
Duplicating Cassidy.
Okay? Make a play. Right click. Nice. Congrats. Now, let's get the code for this. And let's take a quick look. It's perfect because there's not a ton to look at. Alright, I will restart my stream. You'll need to click on my profile picture at the top of the Discord call and then click over to re-see stream. Perfect. You all good?
Ready
Yep,
for battle.
I could see.
Alright. Any questions from that game?
I just kind of felt like I didn't have a huge impact.
I agree. I agree. On the attack, anyway. This rotation, what'd you think? I know we've kind of already analyzed some of these already, but go a little bit more in depth.
I liked it just because they use cooldowns to get to high ground, and now I have a better sightline on them. And our team can attack them from cover on the other side.
You
So
got
I
it.
thought that one was good.
Thoughts on this?
I can't really see anything.
Right,
So-
but why were you so conservative here?
Because of the Sombra.
And the monkey. And then you go, oh, monkey jumped. Therefore, I can be a little more aggressive. I think you're thinking, okay, where's the DPS? You hear Sombra. You rotate left. Do you think this is reasonable?
Reasonable because of the Sombra,
Sure.
and now that Cass is there, so I have a sight line on him.
Hmm. Reasonable? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're coming high ground across, so I have a sight line. Tried to greed that as long as I could.
Where should you end this?
I think in... Well, where's Monkey? Is he still on high ground?
Still on high, yeah. But the nano's expired, and the primal's got about to expire as well. So, like, let's look at this here, right? You have 3 seconds on this. He has 6 seconds on primal. What do you think?
I think ended on high ground.
I agree. Make him boop you off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Winston's terrible, but, like, if I drop here, I'm not exactly going away from Winston, right? Hold
Yeah,
the
he could
position.
just drop down.
Right, so now you're just allowing other people to also shoot you. Now, you do end it and cover here, but I think make him boop you this direction first. And then, obviously, as we mentioned here you get kind of popped for swinging wide when you didn't really need to. Given what you can see here, you have plenty to see here, right? Even just to shoot the Winston bubble for a little bit. Then you can push forward. Because then as you push forward, the summer catches you with your pants down. Okay, we play deathmatch. We get back. And then we're like, okay, I want to rotate to high. Crap. But ultimately, as we said, the cover that this provided... This is some next level dive here from Steven. Check this out.
Yeah, and I...
Oh, she was going for the Mercy. Oh, I'm
trying
an
to
idiot.
stop the res.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I
yeah.
got caught on the wall, and I thought I was gonna
Yeah.
die to...
But regardless, the cover here was really, really, really nice. And then we ended up popping off. Okay, great. I want you to evaluate this initial rotation here from the information that you have.
I find it very difficult to rotate on Zen at the start of this,
It
especially
is.
with... Because there's all that cover if they have like a Widow or something on
It
high
is.
ground.
Yeah, it is. So basically, here, let me give you kind of like where I'm thinking. Generally, this is okay. You see this?
Yeah.
It's all right. And then you can also go here, and this is all right as well. The reason why that's the case is because you're more of a sniper support. So you can kind of just hold the sightline here and get okay value. All right?
Okay.
I would recommend this whenever there's not like a Widow on the field. If you feel like, hey, I have trance, or they're really static, or if they're all on like one high ground over here, you could do the rotation you do here. I don't hate, let me be very clear. I don't dislike the rotation you did. I think it's okay. It's just, it's like high risk, high reward, and I think there's like a medium reward, low risk play on main. If you are going to do this, you need to expect them to push you a little bit sooner. You needed to honestly back off there sooner. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, because then if you're just able to live here, get a kill, or live here for another couple of seconds, I think your team actually wins this fight. 1, 2, 3, and now, like, I think you guys are probably okay here. But yeah, anyway, long story short, pretty reasonable play. Okay, you guys like the Diva Bomb. Kind of, this is the W key one, right? Because you're just like, it's not so much that you W key, it's how far you W key, right? Because you didn't have a sight line until here. But then this is where you want to stop, right?
Yeah.
And the
And
Ana
I
is able...
forgot about the Ana.
Yeah. Okay. You take space off of your team. Okay, yeah, this is a really, really important one. Because this is the one I talked about where you... When I said make a play with trance, I think you misunderstood. So... The sightline's perfect, right? This is all you need. You don't really need to make a play. And so if you want to see something really funny... right? It's like, it doesn't really do you anything, right? You already had a perfect sightline, a bit of an off angle because your team was over here, and yeah, ultimately like, this is kind of cost you. Now that being said, you do get value here. But yeah. And then... the world's longest boop. Because
Yeah,
you
I
were
think
moving.
I jumped.
Yeah, you jumped and moved in the same direction. Okay, I think this is it here.
Duplicating Cassidy.
Yeah, and that's it. Okay. Goals. What do you got? Reevaluating from both the Runasapi review, from our warm-up, from the game, Numbani, and the review afterwards. There's a lot of information.
I would say from a mechanical standpoint, crosshair placement, and then more discipline on when to kind of like slow things down versus spam. And kind of just take my time and do damage instead of focusing on getting harmony out.
Mm-hmm.
From a like gameplay standpoint, being kind of aware of where my threats and enemy team are located. Like in that scenario where I pressed W on Numbani, I completely forgot about the Ana on
Yep.
high ground, and that's ultimately what punished me and didn't allow me to get back to cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then just identifying the best sight line and not over complicating things.
Yep. Yep. You did a good job. Keep practicing these things. I think that the Numbani is a great example of where you made a lot of really good decisions. You overcomplicated a couple of things and undercomplicated a couple of things. You could have thought about a couple of positions a little bit more, could have thought about a couple of positions a little less. I think most of those were identifiable without me. Just going back and looking at it again, I think that probably most of the issues you would have probably spotted out on your own. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So that's good enough, right? That's good enough. So then just continue to do so. And I think like the key thing that I want you to try and replicate for as many games as you can is the level of intensity that we had in that game, right? It wasn't like I'm yelling in your ear, but I am constantly reminding, where do you need to be? Where do you need to be? Where are they? Where do you need to be? Where do you need me? Where are they? Not even like adding a lot of new information or telling you what to do or even teaching anything, just reminding. And that's kind of what your inner voice needs to be for as many games as you possibly can. That level of intensity. Constantly pushing you to be aware of your surroundings.
I think in like the week after our first session, I was very good about that, and also it was like just more so forcing Zen to practice those things.
Yes.
And then like this week leading up to our second session, it kind of kicked me back into gear to force that. But there were times throughout the weeks in between where I didn't really have that level of intensity. I
Yes.
had stuff that I was focused on mostly just positioning stuff. But the other things kind of I just did kind of naturally and didn't force it the way we did here.
Yep. And that's kind of like what I want you to do. What you could even do if you really feel like it's hard to maintain that intensity for long periods of time is just make yourself do it for the first 1 or 2 games of each session.
Okay.
I think that would go a long way.
And then just kind of play more free the rest of it.
Yep. See how that goes. Yep. Okay. Any questions?
No, not necessarily. I feel like we kind of covered everything from a Zen standpoint.
Okay. If there's any